They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But what if one picture claimed to capture the moment between life and death itself? In a cathedral vault in Turin, Italy, rests a length of linen, faintly stained, barely visible, yet burned into history like a photograph on eternity's film. Some call it the greatest religious relic of all time. Others, the most elaborate fraud ever crafted. It bears the image of a man, scourged, pierced, crowned with thorns. The markings align with the wounds of crucifixion, yet the science refuses to add up. And despite centuries of testing, replication, and ridicule, no one has ever been able to explain how this image was made. It defies chemistry, challenges physics, and dares belief itself. The question remains, is the Shroud of Turin the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, or the world's most convincing deception? This is Humanly Curious. Let's investigate.
Hey, welcome back. And if this is your first time, welcome to Humanly Curious. This is where we explore the fringe and the mysterious, and we chase after the weird, the wild, and the what ifs. I'm just a regular guy, not AI, fighting back against the robot takeover of YouTube. Today, we're stepping into history's most haunting mysteries. And actually, now that I say it, haunting's probably not the best word to describe it. I'd say one of the most probably important mysteries for all of mankind, in my opinion. I'm talking about the Shroud of Turin, the literal burial cloth of Jesus Christ. Is it real? A miracle in linen? Or is it a medieval masterpiece that was designed to deceive? Armed with updated information as of August 2025, we're going to look at its history, the science, the controversy, and yes, the faith behind it. And hopefully, if I've done my job well, by the end, you can decide for yourself. Let's dive in.
The shroud's known story begins in 1354 in the French village of Loret. A knight named Geoffroy de Charny unveiled a mysterious relic he claimed was the burial cloth of Christ. Pilgrims came from miles around. The church investigated. The local bishops, skeptical, called it a fraud, claiming an artist had confessed to painting it. But no confession has ever been found. The shroud later passed into the hands of the House of Savoy, the royal family of Italy, who moved it to Turin in 1578, where it's remained ever since. Over the centuries, it survived disaster after disaster, including the 1532 fire that nearly destroyed it. When the silver reliquary melted, droplets burned through the folded linen, leaving symmetrical, diamond-shaped scorch marks. Yet the image, the faint, ghostly outline of a man, remained untouched. What we see on the shroud is unlike any artwork of its time, or any time. A full-body front and back image of a crucified man, showing all the wounds described in the Gospels. Scourging across the back, nail marks in the wrists, a puncture wound in the side, and blood around the scalp where thorns once pressed. Every detail matches scripture, But is that enough to prove authenticity? In 1898, amateur photographer Secondo Pia took the first photograph of the shroud, and when he developed the plate, the world changed. The negative revealed a positive, a detailed, lifelike face where the naked eye saw only faint blotches. The shroud wasn't just a relic anymore, it was photographic. But here's the mystery. The image itself is a negative. The dark and light values are reversed, as if the linen somehow recorded light from a body. In 1978, the Shroud of Turin Research Project, or STURP as it was known, brought a team of 33 scientists, including physicists, chemists, and photographers, to study it up close. They used X-rays, infrared, ultraviolet, and microchemical tests. Their conclusion? The image is not the product of an artist. The mechanism of image formation remains unknown. No pigments, no brush strokes, no paint. The coloration only affects the topmost fibrils of the linen, about 1/100th the thickness of a human hair, meaning the discoloration doesn't soak in like paint. It just kisses the surface. That's not how painting, burning, or staining works. Even stranger, when digitally mapped, the image contains three-dimensional spatial data. It's like a primitive hologram, centuries before 3D imaging existed. Some researchers suggest it was formed by an intense burst of light or energy, possibly radiation. One physicist, Dr. Paolo Di Lazzaro, tried to replicate it using high-intensity UV lasers. He managed to discolor fibers, but even the most advanced lasers today can't reproduce the depth or detail of the shroud. Whatever formed it, it wasn't art. So was this a supernatural snapshot, or just an ancient accident we still don't understand? Before we answer that, the story takes a twist. In 1988, scientists from Oxford, Zurich, and Arizona performed carbon-14 dating on tiny samples from one corner of the shroud. The results? 1260 to 1390 AD. Headlines declared the shroud a medieval fake. Faith was shaken. The church fell silent. Case closed, or so it seemed. But within years, doubts surfaced. The tested corner, critics noted, came from an area known to have been rewoven after the 1532 fire, containing newer cotton fibers invisible to the naked eye. Chemist Ray Rogers, one of STURP's original scientists, and initially a skeptic, later examined leftover threads and found chemical differences. The sample used for carbon dating contained traces of modern dye and cotton, contamination that could make the cloth appear centuries younger. Rogers published his findings in 2005 in Thermochimica Acta, concluding that the shroud's main fabric was chemically older, possibly from the 1st century. So was the 1988 dating flawed? Many now think so, but even new tests face political and religious red tape. To this day, the Vatican has allowed no further radiocarbon sampling, meaning the age of the shroud remains officially unresolved.
And pausing for a second, We've gone through the evidence, and now we've hit the controversy, the 1988 carbon dating, the fire damage, and claims of forgery. So where does that leave us? The story could end right here, but new science is about to challenge everything that we've thought we knew. Let's take a look at what researchers have discovered in just over the past few years and why the shroud debate, it's far from over.
In recent years, the shroud debate has returned with fresh data and fresh complexity. In 2022, Italian researchers led by Liberto Di Caro applied wide-angle X-ray scattering, or WAXIS, to linen fibers from the shroud, comparing them with cloth from Masada, Israel, between 55 and 74 AD. Their findings? The cellulose structure suggested an age far older than the 14th century range from the 1988 carbon test, nearly 2,000 years old. WAXIS tracks microscopic crystals and flax fibers, watching how they deform over centuries. If the environmental assumptions, humidity, temperature, storage, hold, the shroud could indeed date from the 1st century. Meanwhile, a stable isotope analysis at the University of Hong Kong placed the shroud's trace element signature with linens from the Levant, not Europe. And in 2024, Giulio Fanti reported forensic evidence showing bloodstains matching trauma patterns consistent with scourging and crucifixion, injuries described in the Gospels. If these results stand up to scrutiny, the implications are profound. Critics of the 1988 test argue that the sampled corner was a post-fire repair, interwoven with newer cotton fibers and plant gums, a combination that could have thrown the radiocarbon clock off by centuries. As one researcher put it, quote, "The shroud's checkered history exposed it to contamination and repair. The 1988 sample may not represent the original linen." So to quickly recap, WAXIS dating, possibly 1st century. Isotopic signature, Levant origin. Blood forensics, authentic human trauma. Together, these findings reopen a case once thought closed. But not all recent research points in the same direction. Some scientists argue the image itself tells a different story, one that challenges the idea that it came from a real body. And that brings us to the skeptics. Not everyone accepts the shroud's authenticity. Skeptics see it as medieval devotional art. Ingenious, yes, but human-made. In 2025, Cicero Moras's modeling study suggested the shroud behaves more like cloth pressed against a low-relief sculpture than draped over a full human body. According to Moras, a skilled artisan could have achieved the effect by layering linen over a carved relief, applying pigment or heat, and then artificially aging the fabric. Other skeptics' arguments are familiar. The 1988 carbon-14 test, 3 independent labs, Nature publication, 1260 to 1390 AD. Historical silence before 1354, when the shroud first appeared in Larry, France. And the church's reluctance to allow fresh multi-site sampling, keeping transparency questions alive. Then there's counterpoints that the 1988 sample may have been from a repaired edge with newer cotton threads. WAXIS and isotope studies hint at older age and Levantine origin. Blood pattern forensics align with crucifixion trauma unknown to medieval artists, and 3D imaging and photographic negatives remain unexplained by simple pigment transfer. Italian crystallographers cautioned that every dating technique is model dependent. Small shifts in heat or humidity over centuries can skew results. And yet, for every answer, a new question surfaces. If the image isn't painted and the fibers aren't burned, then what kind of process could mark linen at the molecular level without heat, pigment, or pressure? Some researchers describe it as a kind of flash photolysis, a burst of radiant energy that left only its shadow behind. Others insist it's evidence of a medieval genius experimenting with chemistry or light centuries ahead of his time. But the truth may live somewhere between miracle and method, a place where history, science, and faith all blur together. So the debate deepens. Authentic first-century burial cloth? Brilliant medieval artwork? Or something in between? An ancient linen reused, repaired, and reinterpreted over time. So where are we now? The shroud defies easy labels. Part science puzzle, part faith symbol. For believers, it's a window into the passion of Christ. For skeptics, it's a masterclass in how mystery fuels legend. Either way, the shroud invites one response above all. Because whether divine or deceptive, ancient or medieval, it demands a closer look, and perhaps a deeper humility. What matters most is not just what the shroud is, but what it makes us ask.
So, real or rigged? The Shroud of Turin stands at the crossroads of faith, science, history, and mystery. The latest studies seem to push one way, and the skeptics pull another. Personally, I lean towards authenticity. The linen aging, Levantine signature, and blood evidence all seem to point there. But this isn't about convincing you. It's about keeping the mystery alive. And if this mystery sparked your curiosity, please hit that like. And if I've earned it, subscribe and share with someone who loves exploring the borderlands between faith and reason. But drop your thoughts below. Did the new findings change your point of view at all? Again, I'm just a regular guy, not AI, chasing after the unknown and bringing it to you. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.
The Shroud of Turin, a relic of our past, a story woven forever to last. The image of Christ, our King, a testament to his sacrifice, a piece of history, a symbol of his love that never will subside.